To another top story this hour, the results are now in for the Michigan primary races, and they may offer some new clues about the general election in November. It was another victory for former President Donald Trump, winning 68% of the vote. This is his fifth primary win over Nikki Haley, who is vowing to stay in the race despite recent losses. On the Democratic side, President Biden is a projected winner, but a significant number of uncommitted votes were also cast in protest over the president's handling of the Israel-Hamas war. This signaling a possible weakness within his base. And here to break down all these numbers is CBS News Elections and Surveys Executive Director Anthony Salvanto. Anthony, thanks for being with us this morning. Lots to talk about. Let's start with the numbers from last night. Say more about how this informs the state of the Republican nomination.
Well, let's talk about it. So we've got a pretty big victory, frankly, for Donald Trump here. You see the county map, right? He wins all the counties, etc. I think in context, there has been about a third, in this case it's a little under that, for Nikki Haley. And that's been in South Carolina. She did a little better in percentage terms. In national polling, there's been about that third of Republicans who are not voting for Donald Trump. That's obviously a minority, but it's been rather consistent in that regard. So again, big win for Donald Trump there, and I think we're seeing a sort of consistent pattern heading into Super Tuesday.
So let's talk, Anthony, about the Democratic nomination now. And I want to ask about that uncommitted vote for Biden. How strong was that voter bloc?
I think that's going to be a matter of political spin. So let's contextualize that for everybody, right? On one hand, you're going to see people point at that and go, well, okay, 100,000 votes. Well, that could be enough if Michigan's really close and if one imagines that many of them might not vote for him in November or sit out. If one imagines that, that could be enough to swing a state. So people are going to read tea leaves on that. On the other hand, and this is important, you had fairly high turnout for what's essentially a non-competitive election. And you look at the number of votes that Joe Biden nonetheless got, and he's got over 600,000 votes, and it's not all completely counted yet. So maybe his campaign is going to point at that and go, look at that numerically strong showing for him. And that's just political spin at this point. And, look, there's a larger narrative about whether or not the Biden campaign can consolidate all parts of the Democratic base. And I think that is a larger narrative that's going to stay with us through Super Tuesday and on.
Right, and that's an important point to make because as a voter strategy, voting during the primaries may be different than how you vote during the general election.
Yeah.
Also want to ask about what happened in Michigan, how that could shape what we're expecting to happen on Super Tuesday.
Well, let's take a look at Super Tuesday, where just about a third of the Republican delegates are going to be available, right? One of the things in the origin of Super Tuesday was very much to be a southern block of states. And that's important because you look at the kind of voters that are supporting Donald Trump, and you've got a lot of conservative voters, you've got a lot of people who consider themselves part of the MAGA movement. So there's a lot of states in this collection where one might expect the electorate to favor him. And that's something important because then you look at the delegate math here, and we haven't really allocated the bulk of delegates yet. That's really what we're going to see on Super Tuesday. This gives you a sense of how far it still is to get the nomination. But having said that, the delegate math, given all that I just explained, does look like a real uphill fight for Nikki Haley.
Okay, we'll keep a close eye on this. Anthony, thanks so much.